Hello, New York Yankees fans. We have brand new exclusive videos and the latest news for you. Before we get started, we'd like to invite you to join our channel and give this video a like. It's crucial to get exclusive access to the latest updates. The baseball world was shaken this morning with a rumor that spread faster than a late summer thunderstorm across Yankee Stadium. Paul Goldschmidt, the powerful slugger who became a cornerstone of the Yankees lineup in recent seasons, has apparently announced his retirement. For weeks, there had been murmurs around the clubhouse, whispers about his body feeling the wear and tear of so many seasons, the fatigue of carrying expectations year after year, and the weight of competing at the highest level in a city where the spotlight is never dimmed. The buzz started small, maybe a quiet conversation between teammates, maybe a fleeting comment to a trainer, but today it erupted like wildfire. Goldschmidt, known for his steady bat, his reliable defense, and his calm, almost stoic demeanor, was not the type of player who liked drama, which makes this moment even more startling. Fans have long admired his quiet leadership, his consistency, and his ability to deliver in the most crucial moments. But now the rumor suggests that the man who seemed unshakable is ready to close the chapter. It's the kind of story that doesn't just rattle a fan base. It stirs emotions, memories, and reflections across the sport. For Yankees fans, the thought of Goldschmidt stepping away feels almost surreal, like watching a familiar lighthouse suddenly go dark on a stormy night. When he arrived in New York, there was skepticism from some corners about whether a player so deeply associated with another franchise could thrive under the brutal intensity of the Bronx stage, but he silenced doubts quickly with his performance and professionalism. His ability to blend into the legacy of pinstripes, to become part of a lineage that includes some of the greatest names in baseball history, was remarkable. He didn't just play, he left his fingerprint on an era. Now, if the rumors hold true, the Yankees aren't just losing a bat, they're losing a presence, an anchor, a tone setter in the dugout. Opposing pitchers who once feared facing him in clutch situations will now breathe easier. But Yankee fans will feel the void like a missing heartbeat in the lineup. The timing of the supposed announcement, coming as the team tries to navigate roster questions and postseason aspirations, adds a layer of complexity and drama that only baseball, with its intertwining of sport and story, can deliver. In conversations with fans outside the stadium today, there's a mix of disbelief and resignation, like people were trying to process the unthinkable. Some clung to hope that this was just a rumor, an exaggeration born from off-season chatter, or a misunderstanding blown out of proportion. Others, however, nodded knowingly, saying they had sensed it coming. They pointed to subtle signs, an extra grimace after a swing, a rare night off when the team needed him, comments in interviews about appreciating the little things, about valuing time with family. It's in those understated hints that the truth sometimes hides, and perhaps Goldschmidt had been laying breadcrumbs toward this decision all along. Still, nothing can prepare a fan base for the shock of seeing a headline that suggests their star is ready to hang up the cleats. Baseball, after all, isn't just about statistics or wins. It's about emotional bonds, about players who become woven into the lives of those who cheer for them night after night. If this rumor is real, the collective gasp from the Bronx is only the beginning of the conversation. Inside the clubhouse, one can only imagine the atmosphere. Teammates who look to Goldschmidt for guidance, for that steady hand in high-pressure situations, must be processing a mix of sadness and respect. Veterans know how rare it is to see a player walk away on his own terms, while younger players may be struggling with the reality that their mentor, the guy who showed them how to carry themselves with dignity, might be gone sooner than expected. Coaches likely saw this coming more than anyone, understanding the toll of the grind and recognizing when a player's heart begins shifting away from the battlefield. Yet even they must feel the sting of losing someone so central. Retirement is never just about one person. It ripples through an organization. It forces adjustments and strategy. It shifts locker room chemistry. For the Yankees, who pride themselves on tradition and continuity, the absence of a figure like Goldschmidt would be more than a tactical challenge. It would be an emotional one. The question is not just how the team will replace his numbers, but how they'll replace his presence. For baseball historians and storytellers, this moment feels ripe with narrative threads. Goldschmidt's career arc is a tale of persistence, adaptability, and quiet greatness. He was never the flashiest player, never the one seeking headlines, but season after season, he stacked accomplishments that demanded respect. His swing was poetry in motion, simple yet devastating, and his glove at first base was as dependable as sunrise. When he came to New York, many wondered if his low-key persona would clash with the city's brash culture, but instead it became a perfect contrast. He embodied the work ethic, the grit, the silent determination that fans secretly crave even more than theatrics. That contrast is perhaps what makes this rumored retirement so powerful. A man who never craved the spotlight may now be leaving it on his own terms, in a move that feels almost poetic in itself. The narrative possibilities are endless, but the emotional impact is already heavy. From a fan's perspective, the potential loss is layered. There's the sadness of no longer seeing him in pinstripes, of course, but there's also the broader realization that eras in sports are fragile, fleeting, and often end without warning. Supporters who bought his jersey, who brought signs with his name to the ballpark, who cheered his homers into the night sky, now face the bittersweet prospect of those memories becoming a closed chapter. For younger fans, this might be their first taste of seeing a beloved star fade away, while older ones know the cycle all too well. The connection between player and fan is deeply personal, built not just on numbers, but on shared moments, on the electricity of live experiences, on the comfort of knowing certain players will always be there. Losing that comfort is like losing a part of the rhythm of life. If Goldschmidt has indeed decided to step aside, fans will cherish the highlights, replay the big hits, and remember the way he made them feel, but they'll also wrestle with the empty space left behind. The media frenzy around this rumor only amplifies the drama. Reporters scramble for confirmation, insiders drop cryptic hints, and social media lights up with speculation, memes, and emotional posts. In the modern age, a retirement story isn't just about the player's choice. It's about how the story is consumed, dissected, and reshaped in real time. Videos circulate of his recent at-bats, analyzed for signs of slowing down. Old interviews are pulled up, phrases reinterpreted through the lens of a man about to walk away. Every detail, every gesture is placed under a magnifying glass. And while fans demand clarity, part of the allure of this moment is the uncertainty. Rumors like this thrive in ambiguity, in the gap between what's been said and what's been confirmed. Until Goldschmidt himself steps forward with a definitive statement, the conversation will only grow louder, more passionate, more divided. That tension is what makes sports storytelling so addictive, because it turns a career decision into a shared cultural moment. Even with all the chatter, one undeniable truth stands. Paul Goldschmidt's impact on the Yankees and on baseball as a whole is secure. Whether he officially announces retirement tomorrow or whether this is just smoke without fire, his legacy has been etched into the game. He represents consistency, professionalism, and a love for the sport that goes beyond statistics. Players like him remind us why baseball matters, why it continues to hold a place in the hearts of millions. If this is truly the end, it will hurt, but it will also inspire reflection on everything he gave to the game and to its fans. In a world where athletes sometimes chase fame over substance, Goldschmidt was a reminder of a different model. Quiet excellence, humble dominance, and the power of simply showing up every day ready to contribute. That is the kind of legacy that doesn't retire, even if the player does. If the rumor of Goldschmidt's retirement becomes reality, the Yankees front office faces an immediate storm of questions that go beyond replacing a name on the lineup card. First base is not just any position, and when you lose someone with Goldschmidt's caliber, you lose more than a bat and a glove. You lose the stability of knowing that position was locked down every single night. General managers and scouts are likely scrambling behind the scenes, combing through options both within the system and externally, but none of those options carry the same certainty or emotional resonance as the man they might be losing. Fans are already buzzing about possible successors, from younger prospects waiting for their shot to high-profile trade targets who could theoretically fill the gap. But it feels like speculation born out of desperation. For years, Goldschmidt's presence erased doubt about the position, allowing the Yankees to focus their energy elsewhere. Now, the possibility of his departure exposes a void that will not be easy to fill. This is the cruel reality of sports. One player can embody security, and the moment he steps away, the team is thrust into a whirlwind of uncertainty and recalibration. One cannot overlook how this rumor shifts the psychology of the clubhouse. Baseball is a game of rhythm and confidence, and when a leader like Goldschmidt even hints at stepping away, it can create ripples of doubt across the roster. Younger players who leaned on his example might suddenly feel unmoored. Veterans may start to wonder if they themselves are closer to the end than they thought. Coaches might feel pressure to reframe their strategies, not just tactically but emotionally, to keep the team focused on the immediate goals instead of drowning in the narrative of a departing star. It's not that players cannot handle change. They face roster moves and transitions every year, but retirement carries a unique finality. This isn't just a trade or an injury absence. It's the permanent end of a chapter. The idea that Goldschmidt could be done forces everyone around him to confront not only the fragility of careers, but also the fleeting nature of team chemistry. That awareness can inspire players to seize the moment, or it can haunt them, depending on how the story unfolds. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. The media, of course, will continue to chase every thread of this rumor, and in doing so, they will shape the perception of Goldschmidt's career in real time. Headlines will vary. Some will frame him as a hero gracefully bowing out. Others will question whether he still had more to give. Talk shows will debate his legacy. Fans will argue online about his place in Yankees history, and analysts will sift through his numbers to contextualize his impact. In New York, narratives rarely stay small. They grow, amplify, and sometimes distort into something larger than the truth. Goldschmidt, who never craved attention, might find himself at the center of a media storm he never wanted, and that irony will not be lost on those who have followed him closely. Yet perhaps there is something fitting about it. A player who spent years letting his bat do the talking may now be defined by silence, by the ambiguity of a rumor that holds more weight than official statements. Until the man himself speaks, the media's version of the story will dominate, and in a city like New York, that version becomes a kind of reality. Meanwhile, fans across the baseball world are already beginning to reflect on their favorite Goldschmidt moments. Social media timelines are filled with clips of his majestic home runs, his diving stops at first base, and his quiet celebrations with teammates after a big win. Supporters from his earlier years have joined Yankee fans in expressing gratitude, turning the online chatter into a digital scrapbook of his career. That's one of the beautiful things about baseball, the way it preserves memories, turning moments into folklore almost instantly. A retirement rumor, even without confirmation, sparks a wave of nostalgia that reminds everyone why they fell in love with the player in the first place. People don't just remember the stats. They remember where they were when he hit that clutch homer, how they felt when he scooped a low throw to save a game, or the way he carried himself with calm confidence in the most chaotic environments. Those stories, shared by fans, become part of the larger narrative of his career, ensuring that even if this rumor turns out to be premature, his legacy is already being honored in the way only fans can honor it. Another intriguing layer in this story is how opposing teams view the rumor. For years, pitchers across the league circled the games against the Yankees and prepared themselves for the challenge of facing Goldschmidt. Managers often spoke about how his presence in the lineup forced them to rethink matchups, to plan bullpen usage more carefully, to always know where he was in the batting order. If he truly is stepping away, rival teams will feel a strange mix of relief and respect. On one hand, they no longer have to navigate the danger of his bat. On the other, the absence of such a formidable competitor diminishes the thrill of the contest. Sports thrive on rivalries, on the clash of great talents, and losing one of those talents leaves the entire league a little emptier. Even in cities far from New York, this rumor resonates because Goldschmidt represented a level of excellence that transcended team allegiances. Baseball is at its best when stars like him are on the field, and the thought of that ending feels like a loss not just for the Yankees, but for the sport as a whole. For Goldschmidt himself, the decision, if true, likely comes after months, maybe even years of quiet contemplation. Retirement is rarely impulsive, especially for a player of his stature. The grind of the season, the constant travel, the daily demands on body and mind, all build up over time until even the strongest competitors begin to feel the weight. Add to that the pull of family life, the desire to be present for moments that baseball's relentless schedule often steals away, and the choice becomes more understandable. For someone who has already achieved so much, the lure of stepping away, while still on respectable terms with the game, must be tempting. If this rumor is grounded in truth, it is less a sudden shock and more the culmination of a quiet process of reflection. Goldschmidt, who always carried himself with dignity, may have simply reached a point where he values peace over pressure, time over triumphs, and that is a decision every athlete eventually faces, though not all have the courage to embrace it when the time comes. The uncertainty surrounding this story may linger for days, maybe weeks, and during that time, every word and gesture from Goldschmidt will be scrutinized. If he smiles too much in a press conference, fans will wonder if it's a farewell smile. If he avoids questions about the future, reporters will read between the lines. Even silence will feel loud, a signal interpreted in 100 different ways. This is the strange theater of modern sports rumors. The absence of clarity often creates more drama than a direct statement ever could. For now, all we have is the buzz, the speculation, the emotional whirlwind that comes with imagining baseball without Paul Goldschmidt. And maybe that's the point. Maybe the rumor itself forces us to pause and appreciate what he has meant to the game, regardless of whether he plays another season or not. In a way, the uncertainty is a gift, because it prompts reflection and gratitude before finality arrives. But when that finality does come, it will hit hard, because legends like him are not easily replaced, and their departures are never truly felt until the game begins without them. If the rumor proves true, and Paul Goldschmidt truly has decided to retire, baseball will be losing more than a player. It will be losing a symbol of consistency, humility, and quiet greatness. His career has been a reminder that you don't need theatrics to be legendary, that sometimes the most powerful statement is made in the way you carry yourself day after day, year after year. For the Yankees, his departure would leave a crater, both statistically and spiritually, but for the sport as a whole, it would mark the end of an era defined by steady excellence. The sadness will be real, but so will the gratitude, because fans across the league have had the privilege of witnessing a career that embodied the best of baseball's traditions. Whether he confirms it tomorrow, next week, or months from now, the story of Paul Goldschmidt will already be sealed in the hearts of those who watched him play. The rumor, in its own way, has already begun the farewell tour, inviting everyone to look back and appreciate a career that, like the game itself, was both timeless and unforgettable. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.